I'm Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the What the Heck podcast, the podcast where every week I talk about a different health topic myself or I have a guest. And today I have a guest, and she is a very dear friend of mine. Her and I are actually both in Ottawa, Canada, and we do television quite often together. And it's going to be nice to have a little bit more time because the segments on television sometimes are short and sweet. So my guest today is a life coach. I know she wears the hat of a business coach as well. And I thought, it would be apropos to talk about goal setting because the end of the year is fast approaching. And the question is, do we need help? Do we need someone to guide us, to coach us, to have an extraordinary life in 2019? I know I myself have used coaches for multitudes of aspects of my life and my business. So let me introduce you to my good friend, Caroline. And I'm so excited that Caroline is with us. So Caroline, do you mind, I should say her last name, Caroline Rochon, that would help. Caroline, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of your story and how did you end up being a life coach? And this is what you do, full time. You're really invested, and tell us a little bit more about your story. But before you do, I always like to brag about, especially the women that I know well, that you've done a TED Talk in the past. You've done some training for Jack Canfield as well. So you really have invested a lot of time and energy sharing your passion and your message. I just wanted to toss that one in because I know sometimes people are not great at bragging about themselves. So Caro, just tell us a little bit more about you and how you got into that field.
Good. Thank you so much, Nathalie. I'm so happy to be here. And hello, everyone. I guess, where do I start? I think we grow up in a society where kind of life is dictated for you. And for me, it was all about getting married, having children, buy the house, get a good job. And I don't know, I've always been different. I always thought I came from a different planet. And married, tried to have children. And for about 10 years, I had multiple miscarriages. And I think I just went into a depression at that point. I was working for the government. I was unhappy, and I just lived around a lot of clutter. And during those years, all the organizing and decluttering show were on television. And at one point I was like, I think they're talking to me. So I just started decluttering my environment. And then I said, okay, if I can get organized, if I can declutter my space, then there's hope for other people. And so in 2004, I started my business part-time as a professional organizer, and left my government job. I always like to say I left my pension to follow my passion. And within a few years, it was life-changing. When you make those hard decisions sometimes and you leave that security, you open yourself up to different opportunities. And for me, I did a year of television in Montreal, was on radio, was a spokesperson for Avery products across Canada. And so my life just took on a different spin. But then I realized it had nothing to do with stuff, and it all had to do with mindset. And that's when I went and did in 2011 a training with Jack Canfield for a year-long program. And then I went and got a certification in coaching, so success coaching, training. So I help teams, all of that, to just live a better, healthy, happy, and abundant life. And since then, it's just been crazy. Been to India to do my TED Talk. I've been to Mexico, all over the States. Was an assistant on Jack Canfield's team for a few years as well. So it's just been mind-blowing.
Yeah, I'd forgotten you had started with organization, because you and I have known each other for such a long time. So I like what you said about, leaving your pension to follow your passion. And I find that, as I see so many people and talk to so many people on a weekly basis, that it's always so exciting when people realize that maybe they're not in the right profession and take the leap of faith, or start part-time. You don't have to go off necessarily, but kudos to you that you knew that that safety net was nice, but you wanted to do something completely different. So
and I was so smart about it. I did do about a year and a half part-time, just to make sure that it was something that my business I love doing. But then you realize there's a whole new world out there.
I'm always amazed of the online now that, so many people in our own communities are, working all over the world on their laptop in their homes. And it's just like the internet has really opened up, such a big thing.
Most definitely.
Big space, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about life coaching and what it means and so forth. Because again, we go back to the internet. I think if you had said, 10, 15 years ago that you were a life coach, people probably looked at you as like, oh, what is that? I mean, yes, we know what a coach is. We know what life is. But so if you can explain who uses your services and what can you bring to the equation, because you do one-on-one with people that just want to improve on a personal aspect, but you also do business. And I know my team and I had you, was it 2 winters ago, to come and do a workshop with the 5 languages of love in the workplace. So that was awesome. The staff still talks about it. So, obviously, tell us a little bit more about that and how you work one-on-one with clients too.
I think what happens is that people get to a point where either they're struggling and something's not working, or they just want to be more efficient. They want more of what they dream of and things like that. So you'll have those 2 approaches of clients that come and see me, whereas either it's hurting too much, now they know they can't do it on their own and they actually need help, or they just want extra help to boost them to where they want to go. And I've, just like you, Nathalie, I'm a strong believer. I've had success coach, life coaches, business coaches since early on in my business. And I think in 2005, I started working with a coach, and I would never stop working with a coach. I always say they're like my espresso in the morning.
That's a good analogy.
And it's almost like, we're all intelligent. We know what to do. But working with a coach allows us to move towards our goal much faster and much easier. And why wouldn't we want that?
And I know you and I, just before we got on, that you said, you had a bit of a hard time resonating with the word hack. And I said to you, the definition of a hack is a better, more efficient way to do something. So, I think we can all connect with that, because we're so busy. And that's what I guess a coach can help you do, is hacking your habits, hacking whatever needs to get done. And if, we end up doing the work, obviously the coach doesn't, but if it can help us gain clarity on what we want to achieve, as opposed to, doing a zigzag to go from point A to point B, you're able to just say, oh, no, okay, I'm clear, that's where I need to go, and then go in a straight line, right?
Straight line, I wouldn't say so much.
Wishful thinking.
Exactly. And that's what it is. That's what life is it you have an intention of going there, but then life happens, situations that are unexpected and that could be completely out of your control. But then it's like people get unstable because of, hey, this is not going the way I want. Well, a coach can help you regain that focus, can help you manage that particular part of your life that is maybe you're struggling a little bit more with and stuff like that. But I know that through all the years that I've been coached, I've had some amazing coaches, and it, I don't know, it just, you grow so much from going through them. And there's some coaches that are book-based, they've learned, but they haven't lived it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you work with coaches that have gone through some of your pain, some of your struggles, there's just that difference in authenticity and coaching. They talk from experience and not just from shelf knowledge and things.
And I think you're bringing a good point that, the coach could have all the best credential, but you have to resonate with them, right?
So most definitely.
It's so important. And then at different phases of your life, you might need different types of coaches or different needs. So I think it's important to adapt to that, right?
Most definitely. And a good coach will actually let you know where it's time to move on to somebody else. And for me, it's not because someone asked me to say or asked me to be their coach that I will actually accept them. For me, it's doing an interview, and I always tell them that after the interview, you can decide if you still want to work with me, because I'll tell you how I work and how I go about things. And then I'll also tell you if I want to work with you. It's important for me to be able, I'm not after money. I'm there to be happy. And I want to know that you're invested. And maybe we can talk about one thing that one of my tips is, when we talk about goals, is are you committed to your goals or are you interested? Yeah. And if you're interested, you'll make up excuses. Mm-hmm. So for me, I always test someone's level of commitment to their dreams, to the changes they want to make. And if I see that they're not really all that committed and they're just kind of interested, I'd rather tell them, you're going to waste your time and money, because anything will come up and then you'll choose to not follow those things. So for me, the level of commitment is something I'll test really strongly. And it's always something, I was coaching somebody else the other day, and it was like, I'm trying to reach a goal at one point, and I'm asking her on her commitment or versus if she was interested in changing. And it resonated with me. I'm like, oh, Caroline, one of your goals right now, you're so not committed.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
you know what?
funny?
I know. And it was good. Okay. So at that point, I just chose to let that goal sit for a while and know that once I'm committed, then I'll be able to tackle it and realize it. But for now, I had too many other things going on, and I knew I'm making excuses. Yeah. So I said, I'm putting it aside, and then I'll come back to it.
Awesome. Well, so Caroline has prepared 5 hacks, and I guess that would be the first one. But let's ask the audience that are listening, because I think this is such a powerful question, Caroline. And when you said it, I asked myself the same question on a few projects that I'm working on, and I'm going to have to do some serious thinking. So let's ask ourselves this question with a goal. Are we committed or just interested? And I think that's a powerful question. And if you're listening to this, feel, comfortable of sharing, your feelings on this. I think this is probably, as they say, worth the price of admission, because it's wow, And it's funny how sometimes you might read a quote, hear something, you've heard it before, but then boom, it just resonates with you. And you did that with a client, Caroline, and then it made you think. And I think sometimes, like you said, we know what to do, we're smart, but it's just sometimes we need to look at it through a different lens. So feel free to share the answer to that question. And I think, we could wrap up now, because I know I think for me, I was just going to do my goals this weekend, and I'm like, okay, so thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome.
So let's go with hack number 2 of how people can hack their goals, hack their health habits for the new year, and things that you commonly see, I guess, when you coach patients.
Yeah, and something I read in The Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg, I can never pronounce it properly. Duhigg. It's when you're trying to do a new habit, is to attach it to a habit that you've already integrated. So I remember when I was 75 pounds heavier, and I needed to start drinking water, which is not something that I was doing. Is so attach a new habit you want to develop. So for me, it was drinking water, and attach it to another habit that you already have. So for me, was drinking my coffee first thing in the morning. That was a habit. So I put a nice little sign beside my coffee maker, and I said, it said, drink a nice glass of water before you have your coffee. So it had that anchorage, that reminder. And then so I just drank a glass of water while my coffee was percolating. And then I got into the habit slowly. So by attaching a habit that you want to develop to another one that's already integrated will help you go a long way.
Yeah. In my book, Caro, which I know you have a copy, I talk about the 3 levels of changing our habit. And you just described a level 2, because a level 1 is easy. If you want to change the deodorant, you just go to the natural health food store, you buy it. It's a habit that you already have. But the example you gave is exactly that, a habit that you need a bit of retraining. So attaching it to something that you do all the time is brilliant. So another hack for our listeners that you can share with us.
Get an accountability partner. So often, if you're a business person and you're working on your own, or you're a leader and you're leading people, but you don't have necessarily someone that's leading you, anything, it could be your spouse, it could be your children. Get an accountability partner where you're going to say, here's the goal. Okay. And just saying it out loud and sharing it with someone already makes it a little bit more accountable, because somebody can come back and say, hey, how's that goal going? So by working with an accountability partner, either on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, and just reporting on your progress, reporting on the fact that you did your exercise, you ate something new, or you had that difficult conversation with someone, anything, just have an accountability partner will help you move forward much faster.
Yeah, I myself, I'm part of an accountability group. So 10 years we're going strong on this. Every week, every Friday at 8 o'clock, we speak. And I tell you what a difference having this group in my life made. So I can attest. And, you said one accountability, but it could be
a group.
A group of people. And I think that's why, you're bringing up a great point, that groups or organization, weight loss group or what have you, work well, because you're accountable to go in every week to get weighed in and so forth. So there is power in that for us to achieve goals for sure.
Yeah. Good.
So hack number 3.
3 or 4. We're up to.
I don't know.
I think people start the new year and often they'll say, oh, I can't wait for this year to be done, and put it under the carpet. And then they just want to start fresh and start new. And then they'll make their resolution. And then within February, kind of the things are halfway done, or, they stop doing it. So for me and my clients, businesses or personal, I have them work on, I have a document that I give them, and it's all about assessing your year. So how can you bookend your year so you feel positive about it? And there's so much richness in that, and going back, and what was your most memorable moments? Either they were difficult or happy moments, memorable moments that happened throughout the year. I usually take my calendar, my agenda, go month by month, and then decide, okay, who did I see? What have I accomplished? And then we realize at the end, okay, I did accomplish some things in my year. And then just go about going, what was the lessons learned in maybe the moments that were a bit more challenging for you? What habits did you develop in the last year, or that you already have, that you want to maintain in the new year? And doing all of that before you start setting your new goals for the year will help gain clarity on what do you want more of, what do you want less of, based on your last year that you just experienced. And then you can attach on how you want to feel, and then put some actions and strategies on how to get there. So doing a year-end review and planning the year ahead goes a long way.
Yeah, and I do that myself, and I've used different tools or coaches throughout the years, and sometimes I'm inclined to, okay, I want to do my goals, and I'm like, no, back off, slow down. Let's look at the year and celebrate the wins. But I love what you're mentioning, to go back to our calendar, and God knows we're fully booked, with our calendar. So it allows us to reflect and challenge ourselves to say, okay, well, maybe it was a rough year or what have you, but you're right. There's always some positive moments with relationship we've built, people we've helped, and just, amazing moments with other people. And then you're right. The question is to ask, okay, what what do we want less of, and what do we want more of. So thank you for that tip. Actually,
You're welcome.
So I don't know about you, but usually, between Christmas and New Year's, when I'm going to do that, so I sit in front of our Christmas tree with a cup of tea or a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not having a glass of wine at 8:00 in the morning. That's not what I'm saying. But
Bailey in your coffee.
Bailey. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of university days. We didn't have time to go get milk or cream back then. And we've done that a few times. And my roommate, if she's listening to that, will probably get a good giggle out of that. But, the point being is, taking an area in your house or even going somewhere. I know that I'm looking into creating a retreat, a yearly retreat for next year, and just get out of our element and have a kind of a clean slate and nice environment. And going out of your element allows you to set the time, because what happens is that we know what to do, but to give yourself the permission to take the time and review 2018 and then plan for 2019. So, Caro, you'll be part of that retreat next year, because I think you will bring great value. So we'll talk offline about that. Let's keep on hacking here. Just keep going.
I think here. The other nugget I wanted to share is sometimes before we start wanting to change a behavior is to change the belief. If you focus on changing the belief, then the behavior will be able to be changed. But often our beliefs are the things that are holding us back. And so just attacking those, and that I think I got that tidbit of information into the Seven Laws of Learning and a book. And I know that's a nugget that I cherish quite a bit, because if I say I'm struggling on changing a behavior or doing something new, then I'm going, okay, what's the belief hiding behind that? And maybe I need to tackle that on before. And then I know it's changed quite a bit. And I think that's the thing. One of my favorite quotes is by Albert Einstein, and it's his definition of insanity, and it's always doing the same thing and expecting different results. And people are so afraid to change, and that's the thing. We need to change, and people are uncomfortable with change. And so they start doing something new, a new diet, a new plan, a new exercise, a new routine, something they're different, that's not part of who they are, and they get uncomfortable, and then they don't get the results right away. So then they'll go, I'm just going to go back to the old way of doing things. And that's the thing. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you'll be at the same place you are today, just 1 year later. So you have to bring change into your habits, into your mindset, into your environment, in order to produce the change that you want. And it is uncomfortable when something is new, something is different. It's hard, and you have to embrace it. What's the benefit of me adopting that particular habit or something like that, and attach yourself to the why, so you can get to where you want.
I was just gonna end to is your why big enough? Because we go back to hack number one. If you're just interested in the outcome and you're not committed, then your why is not strong enough, and we're not going to do it.
Exactly.
And also, you're making me think also of how many times people do too many goals, and we take on too big of a bite, and instead of taking something smaller that you feel strong, that you can do, and having small wins throughout the year, as opposed to, okay, I'm gonna never put a pair of running shoes in my on my feet, I'm going to run 3 marathons. Obviously I'm being sarcastic, but we have to, again, the SMART goals and all of that stuff, but it goes deeper than that, because I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Caroline, but it seems almost sometimes that people are boycotting themselves from the get-go, that they set out a goal that they know they can achieve, just to prove to themselves that they can't do it. And I see that, and it makes me sad. And I don't think people are doing it on purpose, but is that something that you see with your clients too?
Yeah, a lot of self-sabotaging does exist. And for me, it's always find a goal that is attainable, not too far out that you'll be so uncomfortable that you'll let go, but you don't want it small enough so that it doesn't stretch you. You want a goal that will stretch you to grow and learn something new, and definitely develop the strategies. And not doing it just to do goals because everybody's doing goals. You want to do it for yourself, and your why. Again, why are you doing it is also important. And that's the thing. People go and live on status quo, and because they don't want to change or they're afraid of failure. But I'd rather have many failures and then not doing anything at all. And that is applicable either in love relationship, your finances, your business, your career, and things like that. You have to build that self-esteem by doing things and allowing yourself to fail. There's nothing wrong about failure if you learn the lessons from that,
What's the saying? Fail fast and
yes, often. Yeah, fail fast and fail often. And I know I'm a testament to that. But I think when it comes, you said something earlier, Nathalie, about having too many goals. And I remember a point in my life where, it just was going through some traumatic events and some really life-changing situations. And with my mentor, I was on the phone with him, with Jack Canfield, and I said, I can't focus on a goal on my health, my business, my friends, my relationship, my this, my that, my contribution to community and things like that. I'm having a hard time. I'm at the point where I'm just trying to survive. And he gave me the best advice, and he said, focus on three things. Focus on a goal that will make you happy, one that will make you healthy, and one that will make you wealthy. Wow. So that, just narrow it down to those three instead of going too fast. Then you'll build some momentum in your life, even if you're going through some challenges. Sometimes we're dealing with family that have health issues. We have to be there for them. So if your time is limited, then focus on just those three: healthy, happy, and wealthy goals.
Yeah. Wow, that's another great piece of wisdom. So Caroline, before we finish, I always ask my guests what's their favorite quote. You kind of said one, but is there another one that you love?
We have so much. How much time do we have? Here, that one is going to take too long. One of my goals, one is, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant.
Oh, I like
and that. So often people will go to bed saying, I didn't do this, I didn't get this, but then just remember, what did you set, what did you do, and then that'll be good.
That's awesome. So thank you so much, Caroline. Do you want to tell the people listening how they can go onto your website, learn out more about you, or contact you?
Yes, the www.caroline, Caroline, and my last name is Rochon, and you can just pronounce it like rock on, but with an H instead of a K, so ROCHON.com. And my Facebook, Caroline Rochon. So it's
rock on, that's it.
But and you can reach out to me on Facebook, on Messenger, via my website, and I'm glad for any comments or feedback. And
thank you so much, Caroline. Really appreciate your insight. I'm excited. You got me geared up to do my own goals, and there's a few points that I didn't really think about. So that's awesome. So thank you. So for anyone who wants to have the first section of my book, Hack Your Health Habits, where we talk about specifically level 1, level 2, level 3, you can text to this number, 1716-203-1356, the word hack, HACK, and you will instantly get section 1 of the book. You can also purchase the book on Amazon. It's pretty much everywhere now in Canada, in the US, and in the bookstore, which I'm super excited. I'm starting my Canadian book tour in January. I will be visiting Halifax, and I'll be, reaching out people in that area. And then I figured, let's do coast to coast. So I'm doing Halifax and then Vancouver. And I was joking that I will be tipping my toes in both ocean, but it will all depend how cold it is. So I'm super excited to get out there and share everything about health and how we can hack our health habits. So for next week's podcast, I have another great friend of mine that I'm interviewing. It is Dr. Joelle Villeneuve, and she's a naturopathic doctor. And what we'll do with Dr. Joelle is we'll cover tests that you can get done to really measure your health beyond, the basic blood test that we get with our usual medical checkups. So I'm super excited to have Dr. Joelle on. But until then, have a great week, and I will see you next week, same time, 11 o'clock on Friday for the Hack Your Health Habits or What the Hack podcast, mixing my books and my podcast here. So thank you so much for listening in. And I hope you're as excited as I am to start your goal setting and focus on what Caroline said about a goal on health, a goal on happiness, a goal on wealth. I think that this is wisdom to zoom in on what's important in our life. So thank you very much. Have a great week. I'm Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. This has been a Wellness on the Go production.